Terence Crawford just shook up the boxing world with a bold proposal that's bound to ruffle some feathers. He wants Gervonta "Tank" Davis to step down from his superstar pedestal and fight Shakur Stevenson as the co-main event on his undercard for the highly anticipated showdown against Canelo Alvarez. But let's be real. Why would Tank, one of the biggest pay-per-view attractions in boxing, agree to take a back seat to Crawford? Is this a genuine challenge, or is Crawford just looking for extra star power to sell his fight? If you flip the script, the question becomes even more interesting. Would Crawford ever agree to fight on Tank's undercard? Highly unlikely. Yet, he's calling out Davis for being too cocky to accept the offer. Some fans see this as Crawford indirectly admitting that he needs Tank to generate buzz for his fight. But let's not forget, Tank's fights bring in huge numbers, while Crawford has struggled to command the same attention on pay-per-view. So is this a strategic move, or is Crawford just throwing shots to shake things up before his biggest fight yet? Terence Crawford has made a bold request. He wants Gervonta "Tank" Davis to fight Shakur Stevenson as the co-main event on his undercard for the highly anticipated September 13th showdown against Canelo Alvarez. Essentially, Crawford is hoping that Tank, widely regarded as the face of boxing, will help boost the pay-per-view appeal of his fight with Canelo on DAZN. This request has sparked debate among fans and analysts, as it puts Tank Davis in a position where he would have to play a supporting role rather than headlining his own event. Given Davis's massive popularity and status as one of the biggest stars in boxing, many wonder if he would ever agree to such a scenario. Crawford's request highlights just how much he understands the importance of drawing power in boxing, especially when facing an opponent as globally recognized as Canelo Alvarez. Crawford believes that if Davis wasn't so confident, or as he puts it, cocky, he would agree to take the supporting role and fight Stevenson on the undercard. But Crawford thinks Tank's pride won't allow him to play second fiddle. He suggests that Davis's self-assurance and strong belief in his own worth are what's stopping him from agreeing to the fight. This raises an interesting question. Would Crawford himself be willing to fight on Tank's undercard, or would he consider that beneath him? The reality is that Davis has been a much bigger pay-per-view draw than Crawford, consistently selling more fights and generating higher revenue. Crawford's statement indirectly acknowledges Tank's star power, while also challenging him to prove whether pride is more important than making a major event even bigger. Looking at it logically, some argue that it would make more sense for Crawford to be on Tank's undercard instead. Despite his skills, Crawford has struggled to generate huge PPV numbers in the past, with the exception of his 2023 fight against Errol Spence, which was a success largely due to Spence's star power. Outside of that, Crawford hasn't been a major box office attraction, which is why he's looking for extra firepower to make his upcoming fight with Canelo as big as possible. Crawford may be one of the best fighters in the world, but the business side of boxing often favors fighters with larger fan bases. While hardcore boxing fans respect Crawford's talent, the casual audience, which plays a major role in PPV sales, doesn't view him in the same light as Canelo or Tank. This puts him in a difficult position where he needs additional star power to maximize interest in his fight. Casual fans don't see Crawford as a superstar like Canelo or Tank. To them, he's just another skilled boxer, but he lacks the mainstream appeal that sells massive fights. That's why adding Tank versus Shakur to the card would be a game changer. Davis is the bigger name, and his presence would bring much more attention to the event. The idea of pairing a Crawford vs. Canelo super fight with a showdown between two of the most talented young fighters in the sport, Tank and Shakur, would create one of the biggest boxing events in recent history. Crawford himself admitted that a fight between him and Canelo is already a massive event, but adding Davis versus Stevenson would make the night even more exciting. The question remains whether Tank Davis would ever agree to be in a supporting role rather than the main attraction. But one thing is clear, Crawford understands that to sell a massive fight, you sometimes need more than just skill. You need star power. Crawford's request also highlights a larger issue in boxing, the battle for star power and recognition. While he is undoubtedly one of the most skilled fighters of this generation, his lack of mainstream appeal has always been a challenge.